As I said, thank you for joining us. This is the second in a series of webinars based around traceability. Uh, this afternoon, we'll be looking at PIC reconciliations. Now, PIC reconciliations are a critical part of maintaining accurate NLIS records, ensuring livestock on your property match what's recorded in the system. For producers, this is regularly reconciling your PIC, helps identify discrepancies early, reduces compliance risk, and ensures you're prepared in the event of an audit or a biosecurity response. So this webinar is going to guide you through the reconciliation process, highlight some common issues, and provide some practical steps to help you keep your records accurate and up to date. In a minute, I will introduce the presenters for this session. But also in the background, we have other members of the ISC who are going to be busily answer your questions that I see you're sending through. That'll be Communications Officer Xander Bennett, the Manager of Quality and Compliance, Elizabeth Bradley, and Customer Experience Analyst, Callum Kachenko. They're all here. I mentioned the questions, so thank you for all of those who've submitted questions during the registration process. For everyone else, you've got an opportunity during this webinar. Just use the Q&A box to answer a question. If you move your cursor to the bottom of your screen, you will see there is a Q&A button, or if you're on an iPad or other tablet device, it may be at the top. Click or tap on that and type your questions in, and we will busily try to answer them during this session. If for any reason we can't get to your question, don't worry, we'll answer it offline and include in the Q&A transcript that will be circulated soon. And just a reminder that we are looking for questions, not statements, something we can all learn from and they'll be helpful for everybody. Now, this session is being recorded, and alongside the responses to the Q&As, we will be circulating a link to this video for anyone who needs to rewatch it or wants to rewatch it, and as well as any essential resources on the topic that will help you. Now, I'm just going to hand over shortly to our presenters, which will be Natasha Teddy, the Group Manager of ISC Operations, who's going to talk through the what's, whys and hows of PIC reconciliation. Then we're going to hand it over to ISC Operations Analyst George Basher, who's going to take you through a live demonstration of PIC reconciliations. And we'll just go to the next slide. And the last thing I'm going to do is hand over to Natasha, who will take it from here. Thank you. Enjoy it.
Thanks, Jack. So look, PIC reconciliations form an important part of the Australian red meat integrity system. It underpins traceability, biosecurity, animal welfare and food safety. So that system includes the NLIS database, which we'll talk about doing PIC reconciliations on today, the NVD and eNVD, and the LPA program that sets up the assurance and market access that we require going forward. Next slide, please. So why do a PIC reconciliation? A PIC reconciliation, it identifies the discrepancies between what is on the NLIS database and the devices that are attached, and the total number of electronic devices physically on a property. Next slide, please. So who needs to complete a PIC reconciliation? As a UCAS accredited producer, there is a requirement for this to be completed once a year. That's to ensure that you've got a clear understanding of how many devices are on the database and they match what's on your farm. For all other producers, it's recommended to be completed once a year or when buying or selling a property. As we move into sheep and goat EID, it becomes more important to be able to do a PIC reconciliation and get really clear on what tags are on the property and what EIDs are on the property as you move forward. Next slide, please. So you need to keep things tidy with a PIC reconciliation. Just like anything else, you get to a situation where you may have had a few deaths, you bought some more tags, and you're not really clear on what you've got on the farm versus what's on the database. So it becomes important when you buy the EIDs, which is commonly known as tags, that supplier assigns them to your PIC on the NLIS database. You don't need to do anything else. They'll be already sitting on your PIC on the database. So these EIDs are active on your PIC in the database. The tags move PICs as the animals move. So as you're thinking along the supply chain, that tag will move to the PIC, and you're required to do that transfer to the or receiving of that of those devices onto your PIC. But you also can set devices as lost, deceased, or inactive. So the PIC reconciliation is a basic stock take to ensure the tags on your PIC match the devices you have on animals or which are unused in your drawer. This is vital for traceability in an emergency disease outbreak. Next slide, please. So why do a PIC reconciliation? Well, it's vital for fast and effective traceability in a disease outbreak. It indicates what's on the property and what's not. We match the devices on the PIC with what's in the paddock or the drawer to keep things tidy. You must update NLIS within 2 days of receiving or moving livestock, so it shows you when you haven't done what you're supposed to do. Next slide, please. So why could there be a discrepancy? There's potential an NLIS transfer wasn't completed when you bought or sold livestock. An animal has died on the property. A device has fallen out or it got broken. And devices thought to be lost or inactive have actually been found later on in the supply chain, and they have been scanned as well. So that may bring them back to life. Next slide, please. So that's the overarching guidelines of why it's important to do a PIC reconciliation. I'm now going to hand to George Basher, who will demonstrate how to do one and talk through the details more in depth than I just have.
Thank you, Natasha. Welcome, everyone. My name is George. I've been working with the NLIS from day one, so hopefully I can tell you a few of the tricks that I've learned over the years. So we're going to go through PIC reconciliation, but there's 7 slides I'll go through. After I finish all 7 slides, I'll go and do a demonstration on the live system. So this is showing you how it really happens. So the first thing you need to do is have an NLIS database account, which most of you will have. And what we did recently is we created a thing called My MLA. So it's a portal, and you create a My MLA account. You register to My MLA using your email address, and then you can link all your separate accounts to it. You can link your LPA account, eNVD, and for this case here, your NLIS account. And you may have multiple accounts. You can link them all to the one system. So I'll go through that. I'll show you a quick demonstration of that as well. So the first thing you need to do for your PIC reconciliation, is get in all the tags. So you want a list of every single tag or device or EID, whatever you want to call it, together in one list. So these are all the devices on your farm that are in animals' ears, that they're used or they're unused. That is, they're brand new, still in the drawers, cupboards, in the utes, in the sheds, wherever they happen to be. So you get the list, and you can get it 2 ways. If you only have a handful, you can write them down. But if you have a lot of tag numbers, then you may need to get a scanner. Using your electronic scanner, it'll scan the ear tag and put it into a file. Now, the files are usually in Notepad or in Excel. If it's in Microsoft Excel, then it needs to be in CSV format, and I will create a file for you and show you how to do a CSV file format. The other thing is there's no headings. So it's just the tag numbers or the PIC numbers. So it's just the pure data, nothing else extra. You don't put in, this is, type in the words, this is animal number 7. It's just pure copied codes, your PIC or your tag number. And on the right-hand side, you see the column A. Sorry, just go back, please. Thank you. Column A is the copy number, and that copy number you see there is just a made-up number. And column B is the RFID number. Next slide, please. And there's 2 ways to do a PIC reconciliation on the NLIS database. The first way is upload a file. And that file is one you just saw before. So it's got 2 columns in Microsoft Excel. It's got the PIC in column A and the tags in column B. And you upload that to the database. And like I said, I'll demonstrate that to you. The other way is do it on screen. For today's purposes, we'll do it by the upload file. So we'll create a file and we'll upload that to the system. When you do that, you simply hit a button that says upload this file. And that's all you do on screen for the initial PIC reconciliation process. The system will automatically send you a file, and that file will have, so I can send you an email, and in that email, there'll be 4 files in a zip file format. And I'll go, once again, I'll demonstrate all that to you. And those 4 files are listed there. So these are the active tags. That is, you don't have to do anything with them. You told me they're on your property, and we're saying they are on your property, so that's all good. Then there's some devices that are not on your property. So you've scanned them, but our system says we don't have them registered to your PIC. So you need to either transfer them on your property because you've purchased them, or moved them on your property and you haven't transferred. Or they could have moved off recently. So you could have spent 4 weeks scanning all your animals if you have a large property, and in that 4-week period, some of the animals that you have scanned that are in your scanner have subsequently moved off. But the system will show you if it has moved off. So that's another way to mitigate risk. And then proper tags that you told us were inactive, and devices that you told us that you need to make active, because you told us last time they were inactive. So make tags inactive because they're no longer here. Make tags active because we have scanned them. Maybe you missed them the last scan and you've scanned them again this time, so you make them active again. Setting devices to inactive and active doesn't delete them from the system, doesn't remove them from your property, just parks them on the side to say these, we don't know where they are, but they weren't in our scan list. Next slide, please. As I said, you get an email. It comes in a zip file, like it's shown on the right-hand side. And when you double-click on it, you get 4 attachments. And those are the 4 attachments which I went through before, and I will demonstrate that. Next slide, please. So for the devices that are not on your PIC, these devices were included in the list you submitted. However, the NLIS has them somewhere else, has them on another property. So what does that mean? It means you have to transfer them onto your property, or, like I said, you can ignore them if you know they've moved off recently. So if there's 10 animals there and you know you sold 10 animals to the sale yard or to the abattoir, the system will actually show to you. And if we look on the right-hand side, it says transferred off PIC. So you know they were on your property, but they've been transferred recently. Whereas the other ones will say they've never been on your property, which means you need to transfer them to a P2P transfer onto your property. So how do you do that? You need to look up your paperwork, get the LPA NVD or a waybill that came with those animals and transfer them in the NLIS system using that P2P or producer-to-producer transfer. So, like I said, you can ignore the ones that have been transferred off your property because they haven't been uploaded yet. Next. So you get a one Excel spreadsheet that needs to be made inactive. It's in the right format. So all you need to do is upload that file. And how you do that, you log in, you say, I want to notify the database of changing a device status. So you go to notify database of device status as on the screen, and you upload the file that's been generated for you. So you just save it, and upload the file. You can just copy column A, which are the tag numbers, and then paste them in on screen after you've clicked on device status. Next. And this is the complete opposite. So it's the same process. You set in the device status. In this case here, you're setting the inactive status off. So in column D, on the left-hand side, in column D, IA simply stands for inactive. So you're setting inactive off, which means it's becoming active again. The previous one, you set inactive on. So it just does the complete opposite. So you can turn statuses on and off. So better than removing the tag off your property. We created this about a dozen years ago. So they stay there. Sometimes people miss, a cow could be calving. You didn't scan her. So next time you do, you scan her. It comes back on. You just set it from inactive to active. Next, please. The active one you can ignore. This bit's currently on your property and match the records. It's for your reference only. So you should be told us these are tags on my property. We said yes, they are. So the column A is the property that they're on. B and C. Column B is the visual tag number. So every NLIS device has a number printed on the outside, or the NLIS ID, and that's column B. And inside that plastic is a microchip, and that's column C, or an RFID. Then we have column D. The letter C is for cattle. It's either C, S, or G, cattle. S for sheep, G for goats. So it identifies what species that animal is. Next. So what I'll do now, I'll share my screen and take you through the system. So this is the NLIS homepage. We're going to log in using the MyMLA account. I go log in via MyMLA. MyMLA email address and my password. Now I want to go to NLIS, but like I said earlier, you can link your LPA account, MSA account, eNVD, my feedback, so you can link all the systems that we manage, that MLA manages. So we're going to NLIS. I have two accounts linked to my MLA, so I don't have to remember both passwords anymore. Remember them once, I set them up by going link account down here. I set them up, and now I don't have to remember these passwords. So we're going to go to my producer account. This is my test account. And this is the live production database. So this is what we call a producer homepage, what you will see when you first log in. Now up here, there's a thing called help. Click on this help. We go to help tools. And these are all the documents or user instruction guides that we've got for people with, this takes sheep EID. So sheep individual is the individual tags, so sheep EID. I can just see down here, we have PIC reconciliation. So there's a user guide for that. We'll be going through that today. Another one is device reports. So we'll go through them, but there's a lot of reports here. So a lot of functions here. Sorry, tech tips for all the functions within the database. Go back to this one. Now, for ease of use, I usually hide this top banner, especially when I'm doing demonstrations, so people can see what I'm doing. So now we're on the home page. Now, if you don't have sheep EID, because you've just been used to using mob-based movements, the old NLIS tags for sheep, you click on what do I want to do today? This is broken up into three sections. Making changes to the system up here. Making changes. So this is changes to your account. This is uploading data. We saw device status, moving animals on or off your property. And then down below is the reporting. We'll just go change my types of livestock. And you can add or remove sheep or goat. So if you don't have sheep individual, click that on, continue, and now that'll show up if you didn't have it before. So we're going to go into PIC reconciliation. So we're going back to home again. We're making changes. We're going to go notify the database of PIC reconciliation. And remember, this is going to be recorded, so you can go back and watch this at a pace that suits you. Bit of a blurb about what we're going to be doing, which is what Natasha and I have been talking about. So setting your statuses, devices to active, inactive, moving them on or off your property. So a bit of a blurb. You continue. Now we have two ways to do this. We can copy and paste tags on screen. We can put all the tag numbers in here. Select the property we're working on. So here's a list of tags that I copied earlier. I won't go through this process today because we're going to do the upload a file. You just put the tag numbers in there. So just copy and paste. You can put as many tag numbers, up to 10,000 tags, 9,999 tags, and the system will verify the two. That is, it'll verify what you've uploaded to what the system has. We'll go back. We're going to do it on screen. We're going to do it via file upload. So I want to upload a file. We choose the file. I'll show you what the file looks like in a minute. We continue. It's asking for confirmation. You say, yes, I want to send that. It's now sent that file to the system. The system is now processing it and will send me an email confirming they've received the file, an email confirming the file was okay, and then all the results. So what does the file look like? And I will create a file for you. So that's what the file looks like. So this was in the PowerPoint presentation. So column A is the property that I am checking up on. Column B is the list of tag numbers. Now I've used the visual tag number here. You can replace that with the RFID if you're using a scanner. And I will go through and create a file for you. So I've just received the files. This is the acknowledgement. Came through. Fact that the file came through complete. This is what the file looks like. This is they always come in a zip file. Double click on the zip file. Open. And there we have the 4 files. This first one, which is saying the files are good. This is no problem with these tags. There you'll see your cattle tags. So it's cattle tags saying there's no problem with it. And the name of the file is, active devices, no action required. So we know that there's no problem with this tag at all. These are the tags that need to be made inactive. These tags need to be made inactive. And we save this file and we can upload it to the system. So we go File, Save As. We can save that file. We save that file and then we can upload it. Now it's saved as a CSV file. Inactive, save as a CSV file, and we can upload that to device status, which I'll show you later. And this is the opposite. So these are the tags that were inactive and now to be made inactive. So it's the inactive status been turned off. There's the tag number, the date, the fact that we turn in the inactive status off. This is the most difficult part of the lot. So the first one we do nothing about. We can upload them inactive, upload them as active. This one here is what we need to act on or may need to act on. Again, we'll open it up. So these are not on the property. They've been transferred off. So they were on the property, but they are no longer on the property. That's the majority of them. Scroll all the way down. So there's 74 of them. These were all transferred off. These two have never been on your property. So they need to be transferred onto your property. So you need to do the normal transfer, which is you need the property they've come from, and hopefully you know where your animals have come from. If you don't, look up your paperwork. If you don't know offhand, that is, the LPA NVD, use that as a source. And if you still can't work it out, then you'll need to contact your local state department, give them the tag numbers and say, I don't know where these have come from, but they're now on my property, and they can guide you through and help you through. These two have been recorded as died on farm. So you've told us they've died on farm. Now, if you did that because you thought they were dead, you didn't find them last time, you can go back and you can correct what you've done. So this is called a transfer correction. You can log into the system and do a transfer correction. So these are the only ones you really need to act on. Now, if these have been recorded as dead recently, you can ignore them. Otherwise, go back and do your transfer correction. These two need to be transferred onto your property. We'll do this inactive status. Open this up again. We're going to copy these tags. So we can just highlight the 19 tags. We can copy them and log into the, go back to NLIS. And we saw earlier, we're going to change the device status. So we go device status, go. This time we can just type it in on the screen. So I'll show you two ways to do it. They're the tag numbers, so I've just copied them and pasted them into here. We're setting the inactive. We're going to turn the inactive status on. You do the same with the other file. You can turn the inactive status off. And you can add comments in here. PIC recon. We continue. Again, confirmation. Is this what you want to do? We're going to set these tags to inactive. Hit send. Now let's just send to the system now and set those tags to inactive. If it was a mistake, that is, if I missed scanning them, I can always scan them back again. Go back in and set them to active. So we click on my transaction history. This will show us what happened with that file. So that's what we just did, the tag status. Come back as complete. So they've all been done. The last thing we did, those animals have now been set to inactive. And in the same way, we'll set them back to active again. Same tag numbers. We set inactive. We're going to turn it off this time. And put a comment in that you actually found them. Continue. And does the same thing. So it sets it on and off. Now, when you're scanning tags, you scan the animals. Obviously, the most difficult part of the whole PIC reconciliation process is the scanning of animals. If you're on the large property, large numbers of animals, but you're using a handheld scanner and you're scanning all the animals. Now, don't forget, and Natasha alluded to this, that if you buy tags, devices, they may not be used yet. They're still in your drawer. You need to scan them as well. If you've bought animal tags recently, you can run a report called, so you go down here to, like I said, this is what you do to the system. And down here is what you can see, or the viewing part. So we're going to go to view, generate all reports. And we go down here called devices purchased. You know you bought tags the last 3 or 4 weeks. for this property and your sheep. You click go. Now, this process can take 1 or 2 seconds, can take 1 or 2 minutes to get the results back. But I'll go through and I'll show you what we do with these results. In the meantime, these are all the tags we've scanned. So we scanned all these tags, got them all into one file. That's one long list of tags. That's the one I uploaded before. So these come from your scanner. So what we're going to do is we're going to add, so you scanned all these animals the last couple of weeks. What we haven't got yet is a list of the brand new tags you've just purchased. So they've just come in the post, and we're just waiting for this report to finish. I'll show you how you export these brand new tags that you probably haven't used yet, because they've just arrived. They're still in the cupboard or on the post coming over. So we'll get this list. There's the list there, 20 tags. So we're going to get this list of tag numbers. We go down the bottom, we go export. We get the NLIS number. Again, we don't want headings, so we get rid of that. We copy all these tags just by highlighting them, Control copy, Control C. We're going to add them into our long list. So there's our list of tags. So these are the brand new tags we just bought. These are the tags we've scanned. So we're going to copy all these tags, highlighting all of them. Now we're going to open up Microsoft Excel. And the tag numbers go in column B. I'll just paste. In column A, we've got to put the PIC number. My PIC number is QBZZ2222. QB. Now, we're not going to type it in 1,000 something to 1,900 times, so we just do it twice. If we highlight them, this is a bit of a trick. Highlight both, and there's a little box here. Double click on the box, and it will automatically fill down to the bottom. It's gone all the way down the bottom. So that's your file. That's trick number one, is do it in twice, and then double click on the little box. Trick number two is this now needs to be saved as a CSV file. So we go File, Save As. And we'll just call it PIC. Oops, can't spell. PIC webinar. We're going to change this from XLSX to CSV down here, comma, delimited. This is the trick. You have to save as comma delimited. Save that. Now that's the file we use when we do the PIC reconciliation upload. So when we go back into, I want to do a PIC reconciliation. Back to the first thing we showed you. When you upload a file, we're now looking for this file called PIC webinar. That's the file. That'll give us the same process we did earlier, the same file as this one. And that applies our file to the system. So back to the zip file. We've got 4. We're able to make them active. I'm able inactive. This we do nothing about. Once again, this is the only one that we need to do some real action with, and that is making sure that the ones that have never been on the property are transferred onto your PIC. And these ones that you may have written off as deceased earlier because you thought they were dead, I mean, if you still think they're dead, but you still scan them because they were dead on the floor, you can ignore them. But if you know the animals are alive, you made a mistake last time, then you can go back and make your correction. And you do that by going through transfer correction. So back to here on your homepage. You need to know when you set the deceased, so you need to go back through your records and then go through transfer correction. And what you'll need is the upload ID. So all transactions have that unique upload ID. Sorry, clicked the wrong button. View my transaction history. So, which we saw earlier. They've all got a unique upload number. So you need to find the one that you used when you set the animal to deceased, and then you can roll it back. If you can't find it, you can call the help desk, the customer service center, and they'll be able to help you through. They'll give you the number, then you can go back and you can correct your mistake. That is when you've set that to deceased. Now that creating a file, changing the system, as in setting tags to active, send tags to inactive, doing the transfer. The last one is the transfer. So I want to. Also can move onto my property. You have those two tag numbers. You can just type in on screen, get those two tag numbers that weren't on your property. You know the property they've come from. And this is your property, so they've come onto QBZZ, get the waybill number, the tag numbers, which you've got from the Excel file, go in here. So the most difficult part is trying to find those two animals and their history, but hopefully using your NVD documents may help. So you know roughly when they came on, get the NVD number. On the NVD will be the PIC number of where the animals came from, and you put them in there, with that PIC number in there. I will go through this very quickly. Again, I'll copy all these tag numbers. We'll go to the PIC reconciliation again. And if you type the details on screen, you get a slightly different approach or different result set, the same data, but just displayed differently. So this is what we're doing. This is good if you only have a handful of tag numbers. Continue. It's doing the same thing now. It's comparing this list to what's on your property. It's saying these animals are fine. That's Excel spreadsheet number one, saying nothing to do here. These are the ones that you need to address. Now, the difference that I need to point out between uploading a file and doing it on screen is this list does not tell you, this list doesn't tell you which animals have moved off recently. It just tells you it's not on the PIC. That's the advantage of using the Excel upload file. These ones are goat or cattle tags. They're not sheep tags. You told us I'm looking at sheep, so it splits it up. The Excel spreadsheet tells you what they are. We're using the column C for cattle, S for sheep, and G for goats. It tells you these need to be made inactive. These need to be made active. So it's just very simple. Just by ticking these, select all, and then you can make them active or inactive. So very similar process. The difference is it doesn't tell you which animals are moved off. And this is limited to 9,999 tags, but most people that's sufficient. You do this on screen. The other one, as I said, you upload a file and you get an email back. So just trying to get rid of this. Go back to show header. Let's remember under the help tools, you can use this video. There are other videos on YouTube as well, but these PIC reconciliation guides are pretty handy. And there's all these different reports you've got here are also pretty handy. So go back and refer to this video, some of these tech tips, and some of the stuff that Jack will go through. Go back to home. And if you want to do the PIC reconciliation of cattle, the same process, identical process, PIC reconciliation with their cattle tags, the same message, the exact same process. Makes no difference. as long as you tell us in advance that you keep what you're looking for, and the system will do it for you. As in, it'll show you these are cattle tags, these are sheep tags, but you need to identify upfront the species that you want to do a PIC reconciliation. If you have all three, the one file, not a problem, you do it 3 times. And that's it for me. Thank you very much.
But we're almost at the end. I just wanted to say thank you to George and Natasha for everything and cover off a few last things. As I mentioned, this is the second in the traceability series. We're going to be wrapping it up on Wednesday, the 13th of May. We're going to round out the series with a look at creating and sharing electronic national vendor declarations. So I hope you can join us for that. And I think we have a QR code for that. So there's the QR code. We also have the hobby farmers one as well. And so, sorry, I went out of order here. So I just want to cover off the 3 takeaways before the main takeaways from this session. One is to make sure you update the NLIS within 2 days of receiving livestock. When selling, check that the transfer has been done. The second one is before getting started, prepare a current file of spare and used tags. Remember that PIC and device numbers only, no headings. And third, do a PIC reconciliation once a year. So we have a few resources that are available to you that will be included in the pack, but I'll just go through them a little bit here. You can go onto our website. You can find how-to guides for how to conduct a PIC reconciliation by file upload, and another one, how to conduct it by typing in the details. You'll find a range of other resources as well, many how-to guides and videos. There will be lists of approved NLIS devices for cattle, sheep, and goats, and device supply details for those looking for them. And we have specific resources on sheep and goat EID. Now, thank you everyone for their questions. If I can direct your attention to the chat box, you'll see a link to a short feedback survey. If you could fill out that, it'll only take a couple of minutes, and it's really useful for us in helping to design these with you in mind and to make them as fit for purpose as we possibly can, and to cover the issues that you want to hear about. And don't forget, if there are any questions, as George mentioned during his presentation, don't forget to contact the ISC customer helpline. They're there to answer any questions and to help you in any way that they can. Again, after this, we'll be sending out that post-webinar email with the links to the recordings and the Q&A transcript and resources, and to look forward to that. And with that done, all that's left is, on everyone's behalf, I want to say a big thank you to Natasha and George for their presentations, and a thank you to the ISC team who have been busily working in the background answering your questions. And on behalf of all of us, we hope you have a good day, and we hope that you can join us again next Wednesday for the final one in this series. Thank you.